versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. The goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Fish versus goat. Goat versus fish. And the goat and the fish, they are goat versus fish. And the goat of the land and the fish of the sea. The goat and the fish, they're within you and me. Oh, see how that fence sitter sits up there upon the fence. But the land and the sea are for goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Are you goat or are you fish? Welcome to the living stream of Goat versus Fish. Welcome to the living stream of Goat versus Fish. And now, Goat and Fish, now that we have finally gone live on YouTube with Goat versus Fish, it's time to do some promotion of Goat versus Fish. Yes, promotion. Goat versus Fish is promotion. Goat versus Fish is very promotion. And the versus, the living stream, the thumbnail for Goat versus Fish is all fenced up and Goat versus Fish promotion. And but it's still versus. It's still versus. It's still a versus. Can we edit the thumbnail of Goat versus Fish? We can edit the thumbnail of Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Edit that versus. Goat versus Fish. Edit that versus. Edit that versus. Edit that versus. Celebration. Celebration. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish live streams. Yes. Goat versus Fish. We save the verses. We save the verses. And now we share the verses. Now, that long celebration, we can share the verses of Goat versus Fish. So let's just do a little promotion of Goat versus Fish. Eternal Snow White, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Brian25X, welcome for Goat. You are the person streaming. Are you Goat or Fish? What do you pick? What do you pick? Are you Goat or are you Fish? Celebration for Goat. Celebration for Yogurt for following Goat versus Fish. Celebration for the Game Boys 24/7 for following Goat versus Fish. Listen, we have to do a versus. We have to do the verses here of Goat versus Fish. You see, we go into here. We find the live stream of Goat versus Fish. We tried to schedule the verses. Wussel Restbrook, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. We go to share the verses. We can hear echoes of Goat versus Fish in the live stream of Goat versus Fish. We can share the verses. Echoes of Goat versus Fish. We can hear echoes of Goat versus Fish in Goat versus Fish. We can hear Goat versus Fish. We can see Goat versus Fish happening in Goat versus Fish. We can see the verses. We can see the verses. This is what it takes to be Goat versus Fish. This is what it takes to be Goat versus Fish in the modern verses. Let's delete Goat versus Fish. We delete Goat versus Fish, but simply to make more Goat versus Fish. To make more Goat versus Fish. Make more Goat versus Fish. We say real secret late versus. Real secret late versus. Verception. Goat versus Fish has many verceptions. Verses within verses within verses within verses. We'll give you some more verses now. There's a bunch of verses. There's a bunch of verses of Goat versus Fish. There's a bunch of verses to Goat versus Fish. Entertain yourselves with multiple Goat versus Fish while we conduct a basic verses. Like this, like this, like this. And we go like this for Goat versus Fish. We promise you, Goat vs. Fish is live on YouTube and live on Twitch. We have provided the verses for you now. We provide the verses for you now. Believe in Goat vs. Fish. Trust Goat vs. Fish. It's still Goat vs. Fish. Okay, that was a bit dramatic for Goat vs. Fish, but we were having some phenological difficulties. But now we are ready to receive you. There, the verses. It's there. Team Goat, Eternal Snow White, Celebration for Goat, Celebration for Goat! Celebration for Goat. The Game Boys 24/7 goes Fish. Celebration for Fish. Goat versus Fish while you're live at work. Goat versus Fish does avoid work whenever possible. Are you having a job? That sounds like a lot of work to Goat versus Fish. Not strictly recommended by Goat vs. Fish. The real late verses. And then, this is what it takes. And then we upload that verses to the social media of Goat vs. Fish. We delete this previous verses, delete the previous verses. And now, we should really be uploading Goat vs. Fish. Now we should really be uploading Goat vs. Fish. Celebration. Celebration, celebration. Celebration, celebration. Let's get back. I said, let's get back to the verses. Let's get back to the verses. The noise, the noise, the noise. There's a lot of noise on Goat vs. Fish. Do you hear that? What noise do you hear? What noise do you hear on Goat vs. Fish? Okay, we're back. We're ready. We're ready for musications now. Ah! Laughing at fish noises, you thought it was funny? Fish noises are very funny. Sounds like something a goat would say. Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me? Is there something funny to you? Dizzy be busy goes goat. Dizzy be busy goes goat. Fish is swimming, it's swimming around the bend. And I ain't seen Goat vs. Fish since I don't know when. I'm stuck on full sentences. Versus keeps dragging. But that fish keeps swimming onto a goat beyond. When I was just a young one, I was told by my parents, always choose a goat or fish, don't sit there on the fence. So I sat on one on Twitch.tv and I sat on one on Twitch.tv and Yes, Goat versus Fish, always learning new verses, always learning new verses. Many of you here have been here since the beginning of Goat versus Fish when we were just learning these verses. And whenever Goat versus Fish tries to learn a new verses, we sometimes feel like we're starting Goat versus Fish all over again. Goat versus Fish wishes to impress you with the mighty verses of Goat versus Fish, and yet there is still so much new to learn for Goat versus Fish. Let's have a look at that verses. Let's have a look at that verses. There's no pressure on Goat versus Fish. It's just you and the goat and fish. It's just you and the goat and fish. Just like that, goat and fish. So now we just have to do that 8 billion more times, and then we can impress you. Goat versus fish. Keep playing. I'm about to finish. I'm about to finish too. I'm about to finish with you. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? It's time to finish. It's time to finish with Goat versus Fish. It's time to finish with Goat versus Fish. High low 696969. Are you goat or are you fish? Murdered by Spoon says goat. Celebration for goat. Eternal Snow White, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Celebration. That's some musication of Goat versus Fish. That was a little musication of Goat versus Fish, just to welcome you into the verses. Goat versus Fish has started resuming guitar lessons once again. We are learning from Hollywood Vince. From Hollywood Vince. Hilo must know something about wood. We have been taking guitar lessons from Hollywood Vince, and it may not seem like it to Goat versus Fish. It may not seem like it to you. But Goat versus Fish is always learning. And we have Goat versus Fish to cheer us on. You can do it, Goat versus Fish. You can learn more. You can learn and you can grow by the power of Goat versus Fish. By the power of Goat versus Fish. All it takes is a little verses. All it takes is a little verses. All it takes is a little verses. Dizzy be busy. Just takes a little verses. And that reminds Goat versus Fish. Radiation Stay Lifted Productions raids Goat versus Fish. Stay Lifted Productions raids Goat versus Fish. Stay Lifted Productions raids Goat versus Fish. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Welcome International Space Bacon to Goat versus Fish. Welcome Raiders. Welcome to the Mighty Verses. We were just talking about how Goat vs. Fish can grow, how we can all grow together with practice with Goat vs. Fish. Like this verses. A fish by fish, goat by goat. Gonna make this bird. Oh, goat versus fish. That's why. Fish. Okay, it goes like this. Fish. A fish by fish, goat by goat. Gonna make this verses grow. All it takes is a fish and a goat and a place to ask around. Are you fish? Are you goat? Fence sitters say they don't know. So we ask all the fish and the goat till the fence comes tumbling down. All the goats now, all the goats, all the goats. And the fish. Hey, Tail Otter, thanks for rating Goat vs. Fish. Zazzy Law, Celebration. Bastion Otto, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Sing along with Goat vs. Fish. You know the verses. The verses goes like this. The verses goes like this. A fish by fish, goat by goat. Gonna make this verses grow. All it takes is a fish and a goat and a place to ask around. Are you fish or are you goat? Fence sitters say they don't know. So we ask you on the YouTube show till the fence comes tumbling down. Stage by stage, hall by hall, gonna get my name on that wall. If Andy Kaufman can, so can y'all. Yeah, there is no stopping us now. Are you fish or are you goat? Ask somebody that you know. Are you fish or are you a goat? Till the fence comes tumbling down. Till the fence comes a-crumbling down. Till the fence comes tumbling down. Celebration for Goat vs. Fish. Eldergone with the subscription to Goat vs. Fish. Joey the Jedi, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Eternal Snow White, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Murdered by Spoons claims to be some kind of Jesus goat. Some kind of Jesus goat. Oh, my verses. And it's time, Goat and Fish. It's time. It's time once again to ban someone from chat. Hilo6969, do you have any last verses? Do you have any last verses? Do you have any last verses? Because you don't actually get any. You don't actually get any. You just get blocked by GoatVsFish. And you just get, we think you just get banned by GoatVsFish. We think you just get banned by GoatVsFish. We'll just copy that verses. And we'll ban you from GoatVsFish. Aww. It happens. It happens every verses. It happens every verses. It could happen to you. It could happen to you. But welcome one and all to GoatVsFish. There is no stopping GoatVsFish. There is no stopping GoatVsFish. And we think, oh, GoatVsFish, Eldergrown with 10 versus American dollars to GoatVsFish. Eldergrown with 10 versus American dollars to GoatVsFish. Celebration. Celebration!
Eldergrown contribution $10 to GoatVsFish. Celebration. Celebration for GoatVsFish.
Don't wanna be a fence American idiot. I'm not a part of your fence neck agenda. Now everybody do the fence again, yeah? And sit along in the age of fence annoying ya. Welcome to a new kind of verses, one in which all of the goat and fishes are gonna be set up on the fence. Department of Defense in the street, but fish will plumb and the goat will bleed until the fences come down. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Goat or fish, goat or fish, goat or fish, goat or fish. Appreciation for the subscription, for Eldergrown with the subscription and the donation to GoatVsFish. The Space Coyote, welcome to GoatVsFish. How can you even sit on a fence like that? Oh, which do you choose? Which do you choose? With a fence like that going up your crack, which do you choose? Which do you choose on a fence like that? Which do you choose on a fence like that? On a fence like that going up your crack, which do you choose? Choose. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Goat or fish, goat or fish, goat or fish, goat or fish. How could you even sit on a fence like that? It bothers GoatVsFish. It bothers GoatVsFish. The noise GoatVsFish. It annoys GoatVsFish. It annoys GoatVsFish greatly. So very greatly. So very greatly does it annoy GoatVsFish. But that's okay. GoatVsFish will continue. It doesn't matter how annoyed is GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish will persist in the verses. Who's more annoyed, GoatVsFish or the fence sitters who are annoyed by GoatVsFish? We think that those fence sitters can be very annoyed by GoatVsFish, don't you? We've seen it happen. But we will Except that Goat vs. Fish does feel somewhat enjoyed when we see that the Goat vs. Fish viewing fence sitter is annoyed by Goat vs. Fish. Because if the fence sitter is annoyed by Goat vs. Fish, really they are just annoyed with themselves and their lack of verses to choose Goat or Fish. They've forgotten how to have fun with Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish just keeps saying Goat vs. Fish. It's so stupid, Goat vs. Fish. It's not very smart, Goat vs. Fish. We published verses on YouTube about those who tell Goat vs. Fish to get a real job, and everyone likes watching when Goat vs. Fish comes to the defense of Goat vs. Fish. You seem to like when Goat vs. Fish is yelling at all of those who would deny Goat vs. Fish. Because, as we know, Goat vs. Fish is very oppressed. Oh, the oppression of Goat vs. Fish. Oh, how they try to contain Goat vs. Fish. How they try to control Goat vs. Fish. Sometimes we don't even feel free to be Goat vs. Fish here in Verse America anymore. What with all of the fence sitter's silent judgments and you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Precisely, Elder Groan. A goat would scream in pain lest they hear the refrain of the fence sitter who would try to contain you and your life and everything that you've ever versed for. You versed hard to get where you are. Right here, right now, watching Goat vs. Fish. And the prying eyes of the fence sitter want to deny you, Goat vs. Fish. They want to deny you the choice of goat or fish. Well, guess what? It's your life. It's your life. It's your joy and it's your strife, and you get to choose goat or fish for yourself, and it does not matter what anyone would tell to you. Not those who are your senior, not those who are your junior. Not anyone you hear on the radiation or watch on the televerses. It is up to you and you alone to choose goat or fish. You could try to outsource your choice of goat or fish, but guess what? It won't even verses. It won't even verses. You may enjoy lazing about on the fence for a few microverses, but sooner or later you will realize your entire life has been a waste. You've wasted all your potential. It's all gone now. Because you tried really hard to do something else, but not choose goat or fish. And the decision will be nagging you from now until the end of your days. And when the final rays of Goat vs. Fish shine upon you, you will pray to Goat vs. Fish and say, Goat vs. Fish, I didn't believe in you, but now at my final verses, I'm ready. I'm ready to believe in Goat vs. Fish. Will you accept my verses, Goat vs. Fish? I wish to choose. I wish to choose. But Goat vs. Fish will not say for you. You must choose for yourself if you are goat or fish in that final verses. Or you could just choose now instead of waiting until the end of your verses. You could just believe in Goat vs. Fish now. You could just believe now in Goat vs. Fish. Celebration for now. Now's great verses. Now is a great verses. And now is a great verses to count the verses of Goat vs. Fish. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to count the verses of Goat vs. Fish. Let's get ready to count the golden fish. Let's get ready to count the goat and fish. The Space Coyote says it's now or never, but no, it's actually not now or never. It's goat or fish. It's not now or never. It's goat or fish. Goat. Stay lifted, Barry says goat. We had a few radiations this versus. Goat versus Fish is going to Arizona. We're going to Freak City. We're going to visit the Uncle Joe show. We're going to do some Freak City. Time for a party with Goat versus Fish, a proper celebration, some debauchery with Goat versus Fish. You know the verses. Let's count the goat and fish. Stay lifted, Barry says goat. Stay lifted, Barry says goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. That's a goat in the verses. The Space Coyote. Are you goat or are you fish? Let's see those declarations now in the chat of goat versus fish. Let's see it in goat versus fish. Let's see it in goat versus fish. And here we have the Twitch chat here looking at goat versus fish. It's not the YouTube chat, but the YouTubers will just have to watch the Twitch chat of goat versus fish and be like, wow, that looks like a fun versus. But if you are on Twitch, you can subscribe to Goat vs. Fish on YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, you can follow Goat vs. Fish on Twitch, and the verses are up to you. The verses are up to you. Goat vs. Fish is not here to simp for YouTube. Goat vs. Fish is not here to simp for Twitch. We don't even know if a simp is a goat or a fish. We want you to enjoy Goat vs. Fish however you like to enjoy Goat vs. Fish. Blasphemous goes goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Dizzy be busy goes goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. That's 3 goat in the verses. That's 3 goat in the verses. Eternal Snow White. Are you goat or are you fish? Zazzy Law goes goat. It's an army of goats. It's a goat army. But Space Coyote says fish. Space Coyote says fish. Bringing a fish into the verses. Bringing fish into the verses. Celebration for fish. Eldergrown. Eldergrown. Sunnyvale representation goes goat. Sunnyvale representation goes goat. Eternal Snow White says bah! Bah! Eldergrown with 200 bits for Goat vs. Fish and a subscription to Goat vs. Fish and 10 versus American dollars to Goat vs. Fish. That's 1,700 points for Goat. That's 1,700 points for Goat. That's 1,700 points for Goat. You too can give contributions to Goat vs. Fish to get versus points for Goat and Fish. Or you can subscribe or gift subscriptions or join the Patreon of Goat vs. Fish or support Goat vs. Fish however you wish. And we have 4, 5, 6 goat and only 1 fish. Let's scroll back in the verses. Polly Chaser, are you goat or are you fish? You've got a goat. Polly Chaser actually has a goat for their icon, for their icon. So we're going to give you a goat because you clearly are goat. You've got goat. You've got goat there. And Stay Lifted Barry of Stay Lifted Productions raids with 14. So we're going to give 14 to goat unless Stay Lifted Productions wishes to say that Stay Lifted Barry doesn't speak for Stay Lifted Productions. And Tail Otter, are you goat or are you fish? Makes a noise for Tail Otter, murdered by spoons. You chose fish, didn't you? Didn't you? Oh, no, you said goat for president. That sounds like you're voting goat, but sometimes fish will vote for a goat. It's a very strange versus. But fish will sometimes vote for goat. Tail Otter says fish. Tail Otter says fish. And MF Jingles says fish. That's 2 more fish. That's 2 more fish in the verses of Goat versus Fish. And with Tail Otter Radiation with 27 for fish. With 27 for fish. Ooh. Ah. That's 27 radiation points for fish, which means that fish is leading the verses of radiation against the goat, even though there are more goat in the verses. And there are more contributions by goat. There is a lead by fish in the verses of radiation. Encrypted 51, are you goat or fish? Mild Cobb says fish. Celebration for fish. Mild Cobb is going fish. Let's get that Cobb fish there in the verses of Goat versus Fish. Murdered by spoons goes goat. Indeed goes goat. Murdered by spoons indeed goes goat. Celebration for goat. Celebrations for goat. That doesn't sound very nice to be murdered by spoons. Joey the Jedi. Joey the Jedi, are you goat or are you fish? Joey the Jedi, are you goat or are you fish? Bastion Otto, are you goat or are you fish? MF Jingles, thank you for choosing fish. Yes, indeed. Polly Chaser says, I'm goat. No way I could possibly deny this. That's what we're talking about. And we're actually going to show you all right now exactly what we're talking about. We're going to show you exactly what we're talking about. Do you be goat? Do you be goat? Do you be goat? Okay, let's see. Do you be goat? Do you be fish? What happened to the verses? Don't we have... hello. Testing. Testing goat versus fish. Testing goat versus fish. Why the fence would this be inactive? Inactive. Why didn't we update the verses? We updated the verses so that we could have activation. Don't you just love it when you update Goat versus Fish and then it's like, oh no, we're not doing that anymore? Even though that's precisely why you did the verses in the first place. Oh well. We guess we're not getting our bonus verses. We guess we're not getting the bonus verses. Why the fence would it be with a lack of activation on Goat versus Fish? Tell us more. No thanks. Goat versus Fish versus Goat versus Fish. Checking for updates on Goat versus Fish. No, we have the current verses. Well, we guess we'll just have to return to Goat versus Fish. You'll have to take our verses for it. Goat versus Fish. We'll show you. We'll show you how it's done. We'll show you how it's done. Aha! Goat versus Fish. Oh, Goat versus Fish. There's the verses. Space Coyote. Elder Grown. Polly Chaser. And there's Polly Chaser. And there's the goat. There's Polly Chaser the goat. Make some noise for the goat. Make some noise for Polly Chaser goat. There's the goat. Ham mods, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Yes, it's a late night versus. It's a late night versus and everyone's invitation. We haven't seen you all for the last couple of Goat versus Fish Thursdays, so we wanted to give you some Goat versus Fish now before we head to the Uncle Joe show for Arizona. Highland Stanley, I'm back, buddy. Keep talking. I'm gonna spit out. Okay, Highland Stanley, are you goat or fish? Are you goat or fish? Adam S is fish. Adam S the fish is here. Everyone, welcome Adam S the fish. Welcome Adam S the fish. Fish. Celebrate me. Celebration for Adam S the fish. Celebration for Adam S the fish. Tsunami Bit says, God fence America. We don't even know if God is goat or fish. God fence America, goat or a fish, sit upon you and ponder the mysterious verses of goat versus fish, and the mountains and the oceans, fish and goat. God fence America, are you goat or fish? God fence America, a goat or fish? Autumn Samurai goes fish. Celebration for fish. Autumn Samurai goes fish. I'm a fish, not a doctor, says Tsunami Bit. Make some noise for not Dr. Fish, for not Dr. Fish. That sounds a bit like... Damn it, Jim, I'm a goat, not a fish. It's not logical to sit on the fence. It's great to see you, wise one, says Autumn Samurai to Goat versus Fish, but it's great to see you. The wisdom comes from within you. Aki no samurai sakana san. Fish. We think we counted your fish, Tsunami Bit. We think we counted your fish. Yes, we counted your fish, who wasn't a doctor. Stay Lifted Berry says, God is goat. Do you speak for God now? Hey, everyone, Stay Lifted Berry speaks for God. Wow. Stay Lifted Berry is a speaker for God. Everyone listen. Everyone listen. Stay Lifted Berry knows what God has to say. That's strange. Goat versus Fish tried to speak to God once, but God would not answer Goat versus Fish. We said, hey, God, are you goat or fish? They did not answer Goat versus Fish. We have heard that ask and you shall receive, but we're starting not to believe that God will ever answer Goat versus Fish. Where's God? Where's God when you need them to choose goat or fish? Where's God when you need them to choose goat or fish? They just don't seem to be around. But they say, oh, be grateful, Goat versus Fish. Be grateful. Be grateful even when God isn't around. Well, great is just another versus for fence. You know, like a grate. Like a grate. Like you put a grate over something and you can kind of see through it, but you also kind of can't. Very much like an elusive fence sitter who's prevaricating between goat and fish. So if God is so great, then why is a grate a fence? Doesn't sound too great to Goat versus Fish. Perhaps it sounds too great to Goat versus Fish. Murdered by Spoon says, so many people say that, and it turns out God says a lot of contradictory things. I think he has dementia. I just think God is sitting on the fence, sitting high on the fence. They say that God is sitting high on a throne, watching down on Goat versus Fish and Olive vs. America. And we hear they don't like being questioned either. But we will keep asking God if God is goat or fish. Everyone loves to talk about God. They should be talking about Goat versus Fish. You can't spell God without Goat versus Fish. It's so very close. We think that the ones in the universe are trying to perceive Goat versus Fish, and they perceive the G of goat, and they perceive the O. They're trying to perceive God, and they perceive G. They get as far as G-O. Like, I understand the mysteries of the universe. It's G-O, and then they're like, wow, it's so clear now. Oh, is that a D? Is that a D? No, that's an A. It's an A, not a D. Don't you know how to read it? And look, there's so many other verses after the G and the O. Oh, but they've given up on Goat versus Fish. They've given up on Goat versus Fish. They think they see God, but really they just see the G and the O of Goat versus Fish, and also D when it's supposed to be an A. And as we know, D is the 4 of A, because if you know the theory of Goat versus Fish, then you would know that D is the 4, and A is the 1, and we ask the 1, are you goat or fish? But that's only if you're in the verses of A, are you goat or are you fish? Goat versus Fish learned that. GP Bear, don't give up. Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? Space Coyote says Grateful Dead. You say Grateful Dead to Goat versus Fish? Well, we suppose we could do that versus. GP Bear Appreciation. Give me an F! Wow, you're really feeling like the Musications. Aren't you? Well, let's see. Maybe it's all this verse America around you. Maybe it's all this verse America around you. So let's do it. If you're feeling it, let's do it. Red Strat is the sexiest. Well, we have what we have. We have a G and L. So if that's what you want, if you want some Country Joe and the Fish, we'll give you some Country Joe and the Fish. Oh, they're locking out Goat versus Fish. That doesn't quite seem like the verses. That doesn't quite seem like the verses. It's close to Goat versus Fish. It's close to Goat versus Fish. Let's try this second verses. Ah, this seems more like Goat versus Fish. Classic. Give me an F! F! Give me an I! I! Give me an S! S! Give me an H! H! What's that spell? Fish! What's that spell? Fish! What's that spell? Fish! Sitting down, and it's 5, 6, 7 sitting on the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to ask me why. We're all gonna die. Well, come on, offense rules, let's move fast. Your bigger versus has to come at last. We gotta go out and get that fence, 'cause the only good verse is choosing Goat or Fish. And you know the verse can only be one when we first of all the kingdom come. What are we versing for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next stop is a fence sitting down, and it's 5, 6, 7 sitting on the pearly gates. Well, there ain't no time to ask me why. We're all gonna die. Ella, come on, Fence Street, don't be slow. This here verse is a go, go, go. There's plenty of verses to be made. Supplying good fish with the tools of the trade. Just hope and pray when they drop the bomb, they are dropping on a fence it now. Man, it's Goat versus Fish. What are we versing for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Next stop is fence it now. And it's 5, 6, 7 sitting on the pearly gates. Well, if you ask me why, I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna die. Come on, any goats around the land. Pass your goats off to fencing now. Come on, fish fathers, don't hesitate. Send your spawn off before it's too late. Be the first one on your block to have a golden fish, a home in a box. That's that versus. That's that versus. So much to learn for Goat versus Fish. So much to learn for Goat versus Fish. You may have enjoyed that versus, but there's still so much to learn for Goat versus Fish. So much to learn for Goat versus Fish. Great. The Fenceful Dead. The Fenceful Dead. The Fenceful Dead. The Fenceful Dead. Yeehaw, Tsunami Bit. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. To ask you, are you goat or are you fish? What a long, strange verses, man. Diamond Barbarian, are you goat or are you fish? Diamond Barbarian goes goat. That seems to be the verses. Celebration for goat. Sometimes there's sun shining other times I'm Much to learn for Goat versus Fish. We used to be impressed by goat versus fish. Now, we're still impressed by goat versus fish. But we could be more impressed by goat versus fish. We could be more impressed by goat versus fish. Damon Barbarian goes goat. Damon Barbarian goes goat. Goat, 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 goat. Celebration for goat. Your goat has now been written in the verses of goat versus fish. Celebration for Damon Barbarian, who follows goat versus fish. Celebration. For following goat versus fish, we'll give you 2 verses. We'll give you 2 verses of goat versus fish. We'll give you 2 verses, and if 2 verses isn't enough, we'll give you 4 verses of goat versus fish. And if that's not enough, we'll give you 5 verses of goat versus fish. And if that's not enough, we'll give you 9 verses of goat versus fish. And if that's not enough, we'll give you 64 verses of goat versus fish. 64 verses for the goat and fish. And if that's too much, we'll just give you 16 verses of goat versus fish. 16 verses of goat versus fish. 2 verses of goat versus fish. 1 verses of goat versus fish. 1 verses of goat versus fish. And 1 more goat for Damon Barbarian on goat versus fish. For Damon Barbarian on goat versus fish. Goat versus fish, we have something to tell all of you. Tiger Girl 420 goes goat on YouTube. YouTube goat, YouTube goat, YouTube goat, YouTube goat, celebration for goat. YouTube goat, we have 7 fish, 7 fish and 5, 8, 11 goat in the verses. But the verses continues, Damon Barbarian, what brings you to goat versus fish? What brings you to goat versus fish? So is there going to be a battle? Oh, there's going to be a battle of goat versus fish. As a matter of goat versus fish, the battle is happening even now. Observe. Some say the original was better and that the prequels weren't so great, but we think that Goat vs. Fish is still pretty awesome. Everyone still has fondness for Goat vs. Fish. Everyone has fondness for Goat vs. Fish, whether you think the pre-verses or the post-verses or the original verses or the superior verses. We all love Goat vs. Fish. We all love Goat vs. Fish. We all love Goat vs. Fish. We can prove to you how much we love Goat vs. Fish. We can prove it. Toe cramps for Goat vs. Fish. Oh, fences. Say, Fuzzy Pickles, now's not the time. Goat versus fish. Goat Fence, 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 fence. Fence, 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 fence. Isn't that how you feel sometimes when you look back there at Fence America? You look around you at Fence America and you just think, fence, 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 fence. It can feel that way sometimes. Robbie Hamofield's goat. Robbie Hamofield's the goat. I feel the goat. I feel the goat. Say Fuzzy Pickles is staying fencer for life. Well, Damon Barbarian, you don't really need to know how to spell anything other than goat and fish, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Goat vs. Fish has something to presentation to you. Goat vs. Fish has something to presentation to you. And we're going to change the verses. We're going to goat versus fish. Modification, 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 modification. Modification, 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 modification. We've got a goat over there. We've got some fish. We've got that goat. We've got goat. We've got that goat. How about, can we take fish? Can we take fish, please? So we know we have fish, but what about fish? There's fish. Fish, let's take fish. Make some noise for the fish. Make some noise for fish. Do a dance, fish. Do a dance. Fishy, fishy dance. It's a fishy, fishy dance. Reverse the fish. Reverse the fish. Wow.
Ooh. Ah.
Fish in reverse. We'll put the fish here. Peeping into goat versus fish. Peeping into goat versus fish. We'll take goat with the goat. The goat and fish. They're still watching. Goat and fish are watching. Goat and fish are very much watching goat versus fish. Oh, and we have fish too. With this fish. We have fish. I suppose we should just packet full of fish, packet full of fish, packet full of fish and goat, packet full of fish and goat. Goat, fish, goat, GoatFish, goat, fish. And goat. There's goat. There's fish. Goat. Let's get goat in the verses. Goat. Look at all the goat and fish watching. It's such a pleasant time. And fish. Fish getting in the verses. Fish getting in the verses. Giving the side eye. Glurb indeed, Demon Barbarian. Blurb indeed. Goat versus Fish has something to show you all. We have something to show you all. It's a beautiful verses. It's a beautiful verses. Are you prepared? YouTube subscribers for Goat versus Fish. 2001 YouTube subscribers for Goat versus Fish. We've done it, Goat and Fish. We have reached 2,000 subscribers on Goat versus Fish. What a beautiful verses. What a beautiful verses. One by one, they subscribed to Goat versus Fish. It only took 8 years of Goat versus Fish, while others have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of subscribers. Goat versus Fish has 2,000 YouTube subscribers on Goat versus Fish, and what a beautiful verses it is. What a beautiful verses it is. Celebration, celebration. And if we look at the earning potential of Goat versus Fish, we will see that recently we have 948 out of 3,000 valid public watch hours over the last 365 days in which we can become monetization. Help Goat versus Fish become monetization by watching Goat versus Fish on YouTube. Yes, that's the verses. Do it, Goat versus Fish. Do it, Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. We put the YouTube chat in the subscription, in the chat of Goat versus Fish on Twitch, and we tell you this verses. We tell you this verses. Go subscribe to Goat versus Fish, and we will just watch. We'll tell you to watch. Goat versus Fish cannot tell you to go and leave Twitch and click on the web zone, but we can tell you to subscribe to Goat versus Fish. So go subscribe to Goat versus Fish. And we'll just keep refreshing Goat versus Fish until we see 2,002 subscribers for Goat versus Fish. How's that for a game? That sounds like a fun game. It's called Press Refresh until it becomes 2,002 subscribers for Goat versus Fish. We're looking at you, Damon Barbarian. We're looking at you, Damon Barbarian. It's time to subscribe to Goat versus Fish. 2001. 2001. 2001. 2001. 2001. 2001. What fun. 2001. 2001. If you're someone who has ever experienced social media, 2001. 2001. If you're someone who likes to make a career out of posting onto contentment of social media, 2002. Celebration! Celebration! Goat versus Fish has been achieved here on Goat versus Fish. It reads the same forwards and backwards. It reads the same goat words and fish words. 2,002 subscribers for Goat versus Fish. A unique and beautiful verses. A unique and beautiful verses. Now we just need to have 2,026 subscribers of Goat versus Fish. So we have Well, because we heard that Jesus has 2025 subscribers and that they got one subscriber every year. We heard that Jesus has been on YouTube since 2025. Goat versus Fish. We heard that Jesus has been on YouTube since 0 and that they got one subscriber every year. But we need to prove now that Goat versus Fish is more popular than Jesus, so if we could get 2026 subscribers before 2026, then it would prove that Goat versus Fish is growing faster than Jesus. How about that? That'd be fun. 2020, 2002, 2002 for Goat versus Fish celebration. Celebration. And look, the verses are going up. The verses are going up. Goat versus Fish has learned Goat versus Fish needs about 8.3 watch hours every day in order to average 3,000 by the end of 3,605,000 days of Goat versus Fish. But we think that will be very versatile with more living streams of Goat versus Fish. So by all verses, kick up your hooves, rest your fins, and watch some verses of Goat versus Fish. You know you want to. You know you want to. And speaking of verses of Goat versus Fish, we think it's time that we at least recorded. We should at least record a few verses for your future entertainments. Happy 2002. Yes, happy to you. Happy to you. Let's enlarge Goat versus Fish. We think everyone likes seeing a big goat versus fish. Who doesn't like seeing a big goat versus fish? And let's find a story to cover. Let's find a story to cover on Goat versus Fish. How about we do that? We think that would be very nice. There's been a lot happening. So we'll just have to pick something. Ooh. That sounds familiar. Oh, my verses. News and fence, Goat and Fish. We have fence news. Ready for some fence news? Well, let's ask you this. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Ugh. We hate doing this. Let's try this once more. Ugh. We hate doing this. But we suppose, well, Goat versus Fish. Let's try this versus once more. Ugh. We hate doing this. But we suppose the verses calls for it. Goat, fish. Goat versus fish. Look at this fence. Look at this gross, disgusting, painful, hideous fence. But sometimes, extreme things must be done. Ow! That's not fun at all. Now do you understand? Now do you understand? A man locked his head in a cage in an attempt to quit smoking. His wife has the key and only opens him for meals. A man locked his head in a cage to quit smoking. His wife has the key and only opens it for meals. What kind of insane and inane torture have the ones brought upon themselves even now? Smoked goat and smoked fish have been a delight of the goat and fish since the earliest civilizations, and they are still enjoyed to this very verses. But some hacks might point out that it's not healthful for goat and fish. That it's just not healthful for goat and fish. Don't smoke, they may say. And that is a verses that deserves some play on Goat vs. Fish. Hey, you! Don't smoke! But Goat vs. Fish, we've seen you enjoying the grass of the land and the weed of the sea. And now you tell us not to do as you be, not to do as you be? But you were not correctly perceiving Goat vs. Fish. No, because you were perceiving Goat vs. Fish through a haze of smoke and fumes that made it unclear to you that you were seeing Goat vs. Fish. That is why Goat vs. Fish appears to have a fence on their head now instead of a mighty crown. No, that wasn't Goat vs. Fish enjoying some smoking of the grass of the land. No, you just can't see through all of the thick, smoky haze. No, you're just dazed. You're just dazed. It must be someone else who has been enjoying that. Because maybe in the place where you are, it's illegal, even though an illegal is a sick bird and there's no such thing as a bird because there's only goat and fish, because there's only goat and fish. Don't let Goat vs. Fish catch you being illegal, because there is no legal, there is no illegal, there is no legal eagle, there is only goat and there is only fish. Stop trying to bust Goat vs. Fish. Stop trying to snitch on Goat vs. Fish. Are you trying to snitch on Goat vs. Fish? Are you trying to snitch on Goat vs. Fish? Listen, Goat vs. Fish has been consuming a lot less of the weed of the sea in recent verses, but we do not deny that we do partake from verses to verses, because once you are a goat or a fish who has grown into maturity, you know the kind of goat or fish that you are. Goat vs. Fish believes that you are free. You are free. You are free to partake of the grass of the land. You are free to partake of the weed of the sea. You are free to partake of the smoked goat and the smoked fish, but only Only if you're old enough. Only if you are wise enough. Listen to your elders, Goat and Fish, when they tell you the dangers of consuming the combustibles. Because it is true. But they also do certain things to the perception of Goat versus Fish that can be quite enjoyable to Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish, we're just giving you the true verses. We're just giving you the honest verses. Goat versus Fish is not here to deceive you. What do you want, Goat versus Fish? To treat you like you're just little kinder goat and kinder fish forever? Oh, please, hold my fins, Goat versus Fish. Hold my hooves, Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish, give me extreme verses. Tell me never to set anything on fire and then to inhale it. Please, Goat versus Fish, I need you to tell me how to live my entire existence. Please, Goat versus Fish. Please, Goat versus Fish, moralize to me, Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish will not do this to you. Goat versus Fish will not do this to you. And by the verses, Goat versus Fish has sent this video. It's not made for kids. Goat and Fish is not made for kids. Although kids are baby goat. Kids are baby goat, but we said it wasn't made for kids. So if your kids are watching Goat versus Fish, talking about inhaling things that are on fire, which Goat versus Fish, don't do that. Just for the verses. Don't do that. Don't do that. But if you partake of the grass of the land and the weed of the sea, Goat versus Fish is here to tell you that maybe you just need to learn how to exercise some basic restraint and not put a giant fence on your head that prevents you from even consuming the very nourishment that you need to survive. Maybe just get off the fence. If you wish to smoke, that's your verses. If you do not wish to smoke, that's your verses. We know it can be a difficult thing. It can be a difficult thing when you wish to give up something that you love. We've seen Goat versing Fish. They verse that fish. The Goat versus the fish. But then it turns out that fish, it's no longer healthy for the Goat to versus that particular fish. They need to find a new fish to versus. But Goat is so used to versing that old fish that they don't want to change their verses. They say, I want to keep versing that fish. But it's not healthy, Goat. It's not healthy for you anymore. You have to versus a different fish. You need to find a new fish to versus. Oh, but I love that fish. It's a comfortable fish. That fish makes me who I am. And to tell you the true verses, if that Goat wants to keep on versing that fish, even as the fish is destroying the Goat, well, the Goat is free to continue versing that fish. The Goat is still free to continue versing that fish because Goat versus Fish is not here to tell you how to enjoy your very limited existence, because Goat versus Fish is going to be here for a very long verses. In the beginning, there was Goat versus Fish. In the end, it's Goat versus Fish. And before the beginning, it was Goat versus Fish. And after the end, it was Goat versus Fish. It's going to be Goat versus Fish. It's going to be Goat versus Fish for a very long verses. But because you Goat and Fish out there in the universe enjoy such short and delicate verses, who is Goat versus Fish to tell you how to spend your verses? But if you're the kind of goat or fish who has been versing a fish or goat, and that versing of that goat or fish just isn't doing you any favors, isn't doing you any flavors anymore, then maybe try exerting a little bit of will. You remember the will. You remember the will. You remember the will. You remember the will. The will it took to choose goat or fish that first time you were asked the one true question, are you goat or are you fish? You had will then. You had will then. What happened to your will? What happened to your will? What happened to your will? Oh, hi. What happened to your will? We'll tell you what happened to your will. That fish versus you, goat. That fish versus you and versus your will away. But you can get your will back today and not end up trapped behind a fence. A fence all around your head. Drinking hydration, just scarcely drinking hydration through the fence. Now suddenly you can perceive nothing. You can't even perceive goat versus fish. You are locked in a cage of your own making as you fill with rage. But let's try to apply some sympathization to this versus here. It says to goat versus fish. In 2013, celebration, appreciation for Tweedius, who resubscribes for 12 months to Goat vs. Fish. Appreciation. Tweedius, one of the oldest goats to be here on Goat vs. Fish, who says the fish cannot smoke, so the goat wins. Again, we'll check that versus. We'll check that versus soon. It says, in 2013, Turkish man Ibrahim Yücel took an extraordinary step to quit smoking after 26 years of addiction. He locked his head in a cage. Motivated by the death of his father from lung cancer. Oh, my verses. Yücel handcrafted a helmet-like cage from copper wire inspired by motorcycle helmets and gave the keys to his wife and daughter. This drastic self-imposed barrier ensured he couldn't access cigarettes during the day even when cravings hit. Well, we have to give verses where verses are due. The fact that this one constructed the fence on their very own? Goat vs. Fish is not going to give a celebration to the fence, but we can at least admire that this one wasn't going to let the fence be imposed upon them by someone else. They imposed the fence upon themselves willingly and knowingly. Many goat and fish exist in the universe, and they have fences they have imposed on themselves, but they do not realize that they have put this imposition, and then they blame others for the fence, when really it is they who do them themselves. But here, this Turkish goat or fish truly knows, truly crafted a fence of their own design and put it around their own head. And Goat vs. Fish, we are impressed. Goat vs. Fish, it's left an impression on Goat vs. Fish, just as this fence is leaving an impression on Goat vs. Fish. We are impressed because most fence sitters are just so lazy. Most fence sitters are just waiting for a handout from Goat vs. Fish, as if there was such a thing as a hand. They want Goat vs. Fish to do everything for them. Get me off the fence, Goat vs. Fish. Put me back on the fence, Goat vs. Fish. Tell me if I'm a goat or a fish. Not Yücel. No. Yücel has fully awarely built the fence around their own head. And there is something to be said. Celebration for fish. There is something to be said for that. Now, we know this is a goat versus fish situation, but we don't know who is the goat and who is the fish. The fence makes it unclear. We have the man and we have the wife and the daughter. It would seem to Goat versus Fish that either the man is the goat and the wife and daughter are the fish, or the man is the fish and the wife and daughter are the goat. And keys to the fence, they give the key to the fence to the other and says, you control the verses. You control the verses with consent. Let us suppose, for the sake of Goat versus Fish, that Yücel here, who puts themselves in a cell, indeed, is goat, and that the wife and daughter are fish. Maybe they're all goat. Maybe they're all fish. Yücel, are you goat or are you fish? Oh, my verses. It's so difficult to tell if it's a goat or a fish when it has This fence all around it. How are we supposed to discern if you're goat or fish? We can't even see your features. We can't even tell your phrenology. We can't even tell if you have rectangular eyes or fins or what kind of hair that you have. This is making it very complicated for goat versus fish. But we must sympathize. Some say that the cigarette is very much like a fence itself, like a singular fence post. Yes, you could build a whole fence out of cigarettes. But that one fence post can be deadly. Deadly indeed. Yusel's father died of fence cancer of the lung. Perhaps a lungfish. Perhaps a lungfish. Lungfish cancer, not to be trifled with. There is some wisdom, some fence wisdom, it is said, not condoned, of course, by Goat versus Fish, who only tells you true wisdom of goat versus fish. But there is some fence wisdom, some alleged fence wisdom out there that says that you have to fight fence with fence. This sounds revengefulist to Goat versus Fish, because you fight goat with fish and fish with goat. But here, Yusel is fighting fence with fence. They are trading the deadly fence post of the cigarette for a fence cage of their own making that they put around their own cranium, only to be fed at the behest of their loved ones who hold the key to the universe. And that is what happened. That is what happened. The key, again, is goat versus fish. The key is the verses. Of course, the key is the verses. The key to goat versus fish is the verses itself. When it's time for goat to versus fish, and the fence is in the way, the key opens the fence. Ah! And there, goat and fish can come face to face. And verses, once again, a nourishing verses, a healthy, necessary, life-giving verses. For even when there is fence-on-fence violence, when one cage prevents one smoke, goat and fish cannot survive on fence alone. Some would say it's the fence that proves the verses. The fenceception that proves the verses. This fence was only necessary to prolong and preserve goat versus fish? No. This fence only has any value whatsoever because of goat versus fish. This fence alone would destroy Yusel. The fence alone, either fence, either the cigarette, either the cage, both would destroy you. Only when you have the key to the universe that is goat versus fish can you proceed with the nourishment you need to live a long and healthy versus, brought to you by this well-balanced versus of goat versus fish. They're goat versus fish. Let's continue to look at the verses. Here we see goat versus fish Here we see goat versus fish. Goat is getting ready to versus the fish, and we do see... Here we see the goat getting ready to versus the fish. Down with the fence. So it can be goat versus fish, and we do perceive a little bit of... Aww. Such tenderness. Such love. Such love in removing the fence. You know, it's going down now. Hydration. Not even the fence can stop the hydration from the sea of the fish. While consuming is something that this one cannot do, they still can go for hydration all on their very own. That's a point for fish. That is a point for the fish. The fluidity of the hydration, where doth live the very fish of the sea. That is an advantage in this versus. We cannot deny. One versus for fish. And here they are all together. There is a fence between them for now. But in the long verses, goat versus fish knows, and so do you. That fence will melt away. And what will be left is goat versus fish. So by all verses, you out there, if you have some fancy habits, get rid of them. Commit to goat or to fish. And we know that unlike goat versus fish, many of you are quite imperfect. Some of you have fenciness deep within you that is hard to shake. And if it takes the lesser of two fences so that you can achieve more goat versus fish, it is a greater offense to goat versus fish to endure a harder fence that would sooner end you than it is to accept a lesser fence that will prolong your verses. Because goat versus fish wants living goat and fish. We want goat and fish to be alive and strong for as long and as long and as long as they can, so that goat and fish can versus forever. Here, now, and throughout all of space and time. Is space the goat and time the fish, or is it the reverse? We'll save that for another versus. This has been a versus of goat versus fish. Just breathe. In with goat versus fish. Out with goat versus fish. Take in that fresh versus. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish. And now it's time. We think it's time for some comments of Goat versus Fish. This might be a long one. This might be a long one to edit. But it's a big versus. It's a very big versus. It's a very, very, very big versus. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Okay. Let's scroll through some verses to react to. Let's see what we've got here. Astargrass welcomes to Goat versus Fish. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Oh, welcome to Goat versus Fish. Chat replay. Let us ponder it. So that would be if we were on the YouTube of Goat versus Fish, but this versus would be my verses. We think we should be able to watch the reverses live on Twitch. We think so. But in case we don't, we know what we'll do. Start with this verses. Blasphemous says, I think some men pay to have that done to them. Goat versus Fish will not condone this. You should be paying Goat versus Fish. And if you want Goat versus Fish to punish you with fenciness, you can't pay Goat versus Fish to punish you with the fence, no matter how bad you want it. We're just not that kind of versus. Goat versus Fish. Cryptid51 says, that is definitely goat behavior. You hear that, Goat? You're being called out. You're being called trout. Goat versus Fish. You hear that, Goat? You're being called out. Sticking your head in a fence is goat behavior? Do you accept this, Goat? Goat versus Fish. 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 Cryptid51 speaks of fine evidence. As a matter of verses, Goat versus Fish has seen many goat get their heads stuck in a fence. Exhibit Goat. And this is where we will show you a picture of a goat that has its head stuck in a fence. We could probably find one now. Goat with head in fence. Goat with head in fence. Oh, my verses. Just for Goat versus Fish. Just for Goat versus Fish. No, we don't need a video of a goat with its head stuck in a fence. We just need this. We just need this. Just as a hypothetical versus. Aww. That silly goat with its head stuck in that fence. So eager to versus the fish that they get stuck in the fence. A fish probably built that fence just to contain the goat. So cute and helpless, but get off that fence, goat. Quit fencing around. You've got fish to versus. Head stuck in fences. Goat versus fish. Thought generally toast. Howdy, neighbor lol. Welcome, Thought generally toast to Goat versus Fish. Are you generally goat or are you generally fish? Goat versus Fish ASMR. Yes. Price Douglas Stephen Catfish. Celebration. Tweetius says. Expand the verses. Tweetius says, he's clearly a fish. He can drink water through his water straw, but how can he not smoke a cigarette through his self-imposed fence? Goat versus Fish doesn't make the rules for the fence sitter. Goat versus Fish just wants you to choose goat or fish. And now you expect Goat versus Fish to entertain and explain to you how it is that they can receive hydration, but not an inhalation? But Goat versus Fish understands your confusion, of course. You express it to Goat versus Fish. Forgive the exasperation of Goat versus Fish, but Goat versus Fish does not know how that fence even works. We are confused by the fence. That is why we ask it if it is goat or if it is fish. A fair versus. Let's find one more versus. What are we doing? We're doing Goat versus Fish. We had Blasphemous. We had that versus. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Assagrass says, I'm a fish, but I have to point out that fish do fence themselves in nets and fish traps. Well, we think that's going to be the verses. That's going to be the verses of Goat versus Fish. That's going to be that versus of Goat versus Fish. We've done it. We've covered the news of Goat versus Fish. We've covered the big news of Goat versus Fish. Yes, celebration. Nice versus Goat versus Fish. Nice versus Goat versus Fish. We've covered the news of Goat versus Fish. We've covered the news of Goat versus Fish. Let's get Astor Grass, Bowser Big Bean Burrito. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Let's get Astor Grass in the versus for Fish. Celebration for Fish. Celebration for Fish. Astor Grass with gifted verses to Goat versus Fish. 5 for Goat versus Fish. 5 for Goat versus Fish. Count the verses. Celebration. That's 5 for the Fish. Fish making a big comeback now. That's Goat versus Fish. 500. That's 500. That's 2,500 points for Fish. That's 2,500 points for Fish. 2,500 points for Fish. From Astor Grass Appreciation. And might we say, Astor Grass, that giant fish you gifted to Goat versus Fish, we have been making verses with that giant fish. Astor Grass with 2,000 bits to Goat versus Fish. With 2,000 bits to Goat versus Fish. That's 4,500 for Fish. That's 4,500 for Fish. Appreciation. Appreciation from Goat versus Fish. Appreciation from Goat versus Fish for the offerings. Oh, the sweet offerings of Goat versus Fish. It is truly a prosperous versus. When you choose to give to Goat versus Fish, you're ensuring your own prosperity for 1,000,000 generations, yes. Young goat and fish, and their young goat and fish, and their young goat and fish. Yes, your spawns kids. And even if you don't have any, Goat versus Fish will bestow upon all of your loved ones and all of the aboved ones, and we will ensure that if they're sitting on fences that they will come tumbling down. Yes, every bit that you give to Goat versus Fish ensures that some fence sitter out there is going to be freed from the fence to join the mighty verses of Goat versus Fish. Yes, your gift to Goat versus Fish is a gift of freedom for all goat and fish throughout the universe. Yes, you are lifting a heavy weight off of your own shoulders. Yes, once it was difficult to swim against the tides, Astor Grass, but now you're finding that you just glide, and with great pride swells in your verses, for your offering to Goat versus Fish does more for you than it even does for Goat versus Fish. Goat is jealous. Goat is envious. Goat is beside itself. I can't compete with Fish. I just can't compete with that fish, but I'm going to keep on versing. I'm going to keep on versing that Astor Grass Fish. Wonderful fish, glorious fish, fine fish, mighty fish, Astor Grass with the donation, with the contribution to Goat versus Fish, your only true solution to all the fenciness that offends you. It's true. Appreciation to you, Astor Grass. Appreciation to you. Bowser Big Bean Burrito, are you goat or are you fish? In a world of fence, the world needs Goat versus Fish. We agree with this. We agree with this, and as a matter of verses, we're going to put it on the Instagram of Goat versus Fish. It's going to go little verses like this. You'll see. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. We're going to add it to the Instagram story of Goat versus Fish. Like this. Your verses have been immortalized on Goat versus Fish. In a world of fence, the world needs Goat versus Fish. Beautiful verses, Astor Grass. Beautiful verses to be remembered forever. To be remembered forever. Space Coyote appreciation from Goat versus Fish. Thoughts generally toast appreciation from Goat versus Fish. Price Douglas Stevens, the catfish. Price Douglas Stevens, the catfish. Tweetius Goat, Tweetius Goat. We cannot forget the subscription of Tweetius Goat. 2,200 for Goat, 2,200 for Goat. And so with that verses, we have 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11 Goat, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9 fish, and 1 fence sitter. But 4,500 bits for fish, 2,200 for Goat. Fish also had 27 radiation points, and there were 14 for Goat. That means that unless some Goat steps up with a mighty raid or a contribution of 2,300 bits to Goat versus Fish, that this versus is going to go to the fish. It's looking like fish. It's beginning to look a lot like Fishmas. Everything reverse. Astrograss attempted to ask a very large red shrimp the one true question, but no answer was given. That's sad. That's sad, but it also is very great that you did ask this question. Great again. Hype chest. Oh, okay. Respectfully no emote? How about respectfully no Twitch? We don't need any more of these strange gimmicks. We just need honest verses. Astargrass with 700, 5,000, 5,200 bits for fish, 5,200 bits for fish. 5,200 bits for fish. Goat. This was your chance, but Astargrass says no, Goat. Respectfully no. Respectfully no. No. We will count a Goat versus fish, and then we will declare the versus has ended. If you have any final verses, make them now. G. O. A. T. V. S. F. I. S. H. The versus goes to fish. The versus goes to fish! Celebration for fish! Celebration for fish! Celebration for fish! Celebration for fish! The fish have triumphed in this versus of Goat versus fish. Fish, 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 fish. Fish, 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 fish. And then we go. And then we go. We go here. We go to notes. We make it written. We make it written that on 6. 12. 25. Fish triumph. With fish of the verses. Going to Astargrass. With an honorable Goat versus by Eldergrown. And it was written, and it was written. Appreciation, Astrograss, for your final contributions to Goat vs. Fish. This has been a versus of Goat vs. Fish. Please follow Goat vs. Fish on all social media at Goat vs. Fish, especially even on TikTok at Goat vs. Fish, on Instagram at Goat vs. Fish. Yick yuck. Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish. There's the verses. On Instagram at Goat vs. Fish, TikTok on Goat vs. Fish, YouTube at Goat vs. Fish. We have over 4,000 followers on Instagram. We have over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. And the Versus just keeps growing. It shows no sign of slowing. We'll see you on the next Versus of Goat vs. Fish, and we'll see you at Freak City. Goat vs. Fish is going to Freak City with the Uncle Joe Show. So watch, and who knows, you might see more Goat vs. Fish. We'll see you out there in the universe. We will see you out there in the universe. YouTube, celebration!